Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick. He's the senior editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Sean, the coronavirus, of course, the biggest problem people are saying is that China, back in the days of SARS, was only 5% of the world's commerce. Now it's 20% of the world economy. So anything that hits there, could this be the thing that sparks a worldwide recession?
Yeah, and it's actually worse than that. Back when we had the SARS outbreak, the people in China traveled less. They didn't travel nearly as far, and they also traveled slower. So that means that this thing is spreading around the world faster. Now, there is one bright spot, which is that if you catch the coronavirus, which manifests mainly as pneumonia, then you have less chance of dying with this than you did with the SARS virus. It's less deadly per infection. The problem is it has such a long incubation period, like 14 days, you don't really know who has it. So it's spreading around the world, and you can see why the Chinese clamped down on travel so hard the way they did. And we'll just have to see what happens, but it's definitely going to have an impact on the Chinese economy this year. Probably going to have an impact on the Asia Pacific region this year. And in North America, there's so much stuff we need that actually comes out of China. We can already see this impacting the supply chain of major corporations. So, yeah, this thing could have an impact.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, well, I don't knowingly buy a lot of Chinese goods, but I said that computer you bought, it may have been assembled in Richmond, BC or Colorado, but the parts, the chips were made in China. Right,
yeah. And I will have to admit, I probably underestimated this at first because I remember SARS. I'm old enough. I remember that outbreak, and I remember the market sold off really big. And then even before the problem was over, the market went right back up. So I thought it would be kind of like that, but I guess the incubation period and the extra travel, and as you said, the way China has become a much more integral part of the global economy, all these things make it more impactful. So we'll just have to see how it works out, but we should thank heaven for small mercies, which is that it's not as deadly as SARS. So there is that. And also people who are dying, it sounds like a lot of deaths, but there's a lot of people in China, and a lot of them have very marginal health care. So there are people who get sick, they die alone, that kind of thing. So I don't think we in the U.S. would need to be worried about it that much, but the market loves to panic, especially when things are overpriced, overbought anyway, which they were. Now, we are seeing the U.S. central bank and other central banks around the world, especially the Chinese, pump money into the economy to try and deal with the situation. That's why markets rallied so much on Tuesday. Will that be enough to actually paper over this thing? I don't know. But I can understand people being cautious in their portfolios now.
I noticed as well, the instant hospitals they built, 2 hospitals that can hold 1,000 patients each, they all had bars on the window. Is that because they think people are scared, or are they going to repurpose these instant hospitals as prisons afterwards?
Oh, I think China can always use more prisons. And those hospitals aren't up to any kind of U.S. code, right? The thing is when you build something instantly, a lot of corners get cut. It was pretty impressive. And we'll have to see, not only what steps they have taken so far, but what the next steps they take. Because with each action they take, they can either reassure global markets or they can scare the bejesus out of global markets. Now, we did see the World Health Organization come out and say that this virus is not a pandemic. And that reassured the markets. That was on Monday. So we need to see more things like that. That should actually calm things down. But they're probably only going to say what's true. And if things take a turn for the worse, then we can expect them to say that.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the 2019 drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, how has gold reacted to what's happening with this virus?
Well, at first it went way up because everyone was scared, and now it's going way down because everyone's breathing a huge sigh of relief. You can bet the next time there's bad news, gold will go higher. I actually am a little ticked off at this action because it's actually obscuring the underlying great fundamentals for gold. There's all sorts of things going on, negative interest rates, for example, that are quite bullish for gold. Also, the supply-demand picture for gold looks quite good. So this hysteria over the virus is assuring that underlying all this, gold has a great-looking fundamental picture. So, but in the meantime, we can expect the market to trade on headlines. So you'll probably see wild swings in gold and miners up and down.
Is there any particular holding again, averaging, buying, the same amount of money's worth of gold every month? Is that a good strategy right now?
I suppose. I mean, it all depends on how you like to invest. What I might do is look for a really steep sell-off in gold and buy gold miners at that time. When you can see they're obviously oversold and they're just starting to try to go down, but they can't anymore because the buyers keep coming in, that's when I want to buy. We aren't at that point yet.
What else in the natural resource sector is catching your attention right now?
Well, oil. Oil had a good day Tuesday. Oil stocks had a fabulous day Tuesday. But really, with all the Chinese sitting at home and not moving around and not transporting things, that naturally hits on estimates of how much oil they'll use going forward. And at first, the estimates of the hit were quite small, 200,000 barrels per day, maybe, but the estimates keep going up and up because this virus keeps spreading and the governments keep, reacting to it by clamping down on travel. So, you know what? This could have an impact on the oil markets. That said, I don't expect it'll be long-term. They're already working on a cure. They're already working on a vaccine. So those things are in the works. And once we adjust, then I expect global oil use to get back to normal. And that, or actually a little before then, is going to be a great time to buy select oil stocks. I'm not talking Exxon. I don't like Exxon because it just seems to be, not really quite adjusting well to things. But other oil companies will be fantastic buys when we come to the bottom of it.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, is the marijuana down and out, or is this a time to take a look at companies that have survived, and are they on their way back up?
Well, we're actually seeing a nice bottoming process in the broad marijuana group. There are still some companies I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, Aurora Cannabis being an example. Don't want that one, because management there just can't seem to grasp what they should be doing. They seem to be making one mistake after another. So I'm avoiding those companies that are adding on debt, building out things when they shouldn't be building out. But that doesn't mean there aren't great opportunities out there. And those are the kinds of things that I'm adding right now. And I think we, in fact, just took gains last week on a company that makes hemp seeds. They actually design hemp seeds so they won't get too hot. Hot meaning have too much THC in them. And so there's more opportunities like that out there. I think there are at least 3 U.S. multi-state operators that are quite cheap right now. And when you look at what they'll be doing going forward, Curaleaf, for example, I mean, it's like sales are growing so fast and its market cap is so small that I would have to think the market would have to correct that sooner or later. But I could be wrong, but to me it looks like a bottom is forming in cannabis stocks.
Mm-hmm. What other areas are you looking at right now?
Well, the base metals, I think people should be looking at those. We're doing very well with a copper investment, and I think that let's talk about copper for a minute. Talk about something that sold off hard, right? Because China uses so much of the world's copper. Copper got thrown out the window. But there are companies in that space that actually look quite good. And, getting dumped means they now become real bargains. So I think people should look at that as well. That doesn't mean you should buy right now, but you should definitely be making your shopping list because the time to buy the copper names will be coming.
Well, of course, look at how much copper goes into an electric car like a Tesla. It's like a small copper deposit all by itself.
Yeah, I know. And I would not be buying Tesla at these levels either, I have to say. Now, that stock has run much further than I ever thought it would, but it just seems insane. But that's an example, I think, of how the world central banks are just pumping money into the markets right now, and that money has to end up somewhere. One place it's obviously ended up is in Tesla, because that's overvalued beyond any expectation of what can happen. It's overvalued. It's like valued more than all the other world's car makers put together. That's just nuts. I think there's a reckoning coming in that stock, but that doesn't mean it can't go higher. I'm not a buyer, but I don't want to be the guy standing in front of the steamroller either. That's not a way to go. So it's a wild and crazy market. Plenty of fear and fear trades. And I think we'll see more positive action from gold. The bad news isn't over. I think there's a lot more to come, but I can understand why people would be so careful right now because, when this market whipsaws like this, it's really hard for many people to figure out what to do.
Of course, pharmaceutical companies are working hard now to develop the Wuhan virus cure, or as it'll be some kind of vaccine. Is that something to watch for, or is it a case of so many companies are working on it you can't really tie your horse to that particular cart?
Well, really, the time to buy those stocks was last week, right? Most of them have run up quite nicely. Someone will be the winner. I'm expecting it's a Chinese company, because if they don't have the technology, they'll steal it. And so I wouldn't be a buyer of those now. I could be wrong, but certainly that was the time to be an early mover on that.
Well, the Ebola virus vaccine was developed in Canada at our Tropical Disease Center. And you go, what is Canada doing with a tropical disease center? But we just have so many people who visit warm places in the winter. It's good to know how to cure the diseases they bring home.
That's actually a very good idea.
Sean, anything else to sum up what's going on?
No, I'll be speaking at the Orlando Money Show Thursday, and I don't think any of your listeners will be going to that. But if they are, please have them say hi. And I'll be at the Benzinga Cannabis Conference down in Miami later in the month. So there are those things going on. There's a lot going on. This is a time in the markets when many people are scared, but when people are scared, it's a time when you can make money. So I'll just close with that.
Do you think you might be the only person at the conference?
No, there'll be plenty there. I'm already hearing from people who are attending. There's still plenty of interest in that space.
Sean, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick. He's the senior editor at WeissRatings.com. And Sean, you've got your toe in a couple of other waters. Where are you?
Well, let's see. Wealth-Wade.com. That's our free easy. You can always pick that up. Wealth Mega Trends is our monthly newsletter. You can look at that. We're doing great on that, but we like stocks to pay nice dividends and keep raising those dividends. So that's just a trend we're riding right there. And also newsletters on gold, cannabis. So yeah, I have plenty. I should say I have my fingers in plenty of pies. There's lots of opportunities out there, and I hope people are not sitting on their hands, but they're busy getting to work right now.
Again, my guest has been Sean Brodrick. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.